Hey, I'm Austin and welcome to day 9 of ROW-20. For today's workout, we're gonna be dialing back our intensity today to focus more on low intensity technique with feet out rowing, which means that we're gonna row without our feet strapped into the rower. And that's because when our feet are strapped into the rower, we can easily rely on our foot straps to compensate for a lack of good form at certain parts of the rowing stroke. But when we take the support straps out of the rowing stroke, it forces us to row with virtually perfect rowing technique. So this is very tricky to do. And so when we do this, the idea is to set our feet on top of the foot plates. However, if you are uncomfortable with doing that and you feel like you might fly off, what you can do instead too is loosen up your foot plates as much as you can. That way your toes can lock onto something if for some reason you feel like you're gonna fall back or something like that. But the idea is to not have the straps supporting our feet, forcing us to use more core engagement and to row with good form. So the plan for today is to break up our 20 minutes, first 10 minutes at a nice slow and steady 14 strokes per minute into 10 minutes rowing at 20 strokes per minute. So going from 14 to 20 as we make that shift, bringing up our intensity and practicing good technique. I'm gonna be giving some cues as we go along. This is a great time to improve our rowing IQ and our body awareness while we're on the rowing machine. So we're gonna take things nice and slow to start. Again, if you really want to, make sure you can get your feet under with really loose straps or feet on top, but just take it nice and slow. We don't want anyone getting hurt or anything like that. All right, that's the plan of attack. So time to strap in, or not really strap in. Time to get our feet on top of our foot straps or really loose. And let's just row. All right, so situate your foot straps so that they're lying down flat with your feet on top. And try not to set your foot on the buckle if you can, unless of course you're going for loose foot straps. Whatever you want to do here, make sure we're nice and secure. And we're going to take this first stroke nice and slow, getting into 14 strokes per minute. So with me here, grab your handles, super slow, 3, 2, 1, super slow, super slow, super slow. Nice, and back up, super slow, nice and easy. Okay, so we need to take these first few strokes just to get used to this new sensation of our feet not being clipped in. Now, maybe this is the first time you've ever done something like this. This is gonna feel really awkward. You might feel like you're about to fly off the back side of the rower, but that's okay. Just stay really focused here and thinking about things that we've talked about in the past, such as extending our legs all the way, not letting our legs bend early, tapping our arms down and over the knees so we can use our core to lean ourselves forward rather than using our feet to pull ourselves up. What a sensation, huh? Nice. You'll notice right away that your whole body ends up working a lot more. Those that tend to rely on the foot straps the most are actually those that have been rowing for a while but haven't been coached with good rowing form. So again, we're trying to break bad habits with this program, reshaping how we think about our rowing stroke, increasing our rowing IQ so that by the end of the program, there isn't anything that you can't do rowing related. And that's why feet out like this, it's a very unconventional type of workout, but that's what I'm all about. Unconventional stuff to help you get the most out of your rowing. So notice how things are feeling right now. And what I would really like you to direct your attention to as we row today is putting the effort through the foot plates. Because at the end of the day, that's really how we move the handle, at least until the very end as we pull our arms. But even then, because the physics of any sort of force production is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as our handle is driving back to the back end of the stroke, you'll be able to feel constant pressure in your foot plates, constant force. And so I want you to take here 10 strokes with me thinking about force through the foot plates. On this one here, with me, think about your foot plates. Push through them, push, 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 even as your body swings and leans. Nice, that's 2. Feel your feet work here. 3. Maybe start adding a little more pressure now. 4. A little more force, play around with it. 5. Nice force in the foot plate. 6. Nice. 7. 8. 9. 10. Very nice. When our feet are unstrapped, that's when we can be the most aware of our feet. But understand that even when our feet are strapped in, and we're going hard and fast, high stroke rate, whatever it might be, our feet are always putting force into the foot plates at every point. And that's how we stay most connected to our rowing stroke. That's also one of the keys to not falling off of your seat during high stroke rate rows. If you've ever tried to do a quick rowing sprint, a lot of times we can fall off of our seat when we row if you're rowing improperly, and that's because if we're focused on pulling and pulling up and back and not staying grounded through our foot plates, that can happen. So here it's all about grounding through the feet. And now I want you to take some time to think about the length of your rowing stroke. At the end of the day, rowing is a tall, favored exercise. It helps to be tall. You naturally can row with more power. But since we're not in competition, you don't have to worry about how you're stacking up with everyone else. You just need to do the best you can. But we need to all row with as much height as we can. So remember our really 3 components of rowing tall, rowing long. First component being leaning and swinging. Body forward and body back. Getting our torso forward onto our thighs, reaching our arms up and into the front. And then the second component being leg compression. So bending our legs as close as we can to shins vertical. Shins vertical, not past that. Remember, if you have a larger midsection though, you might find it hard to lean and bend your legs to shins vertical, in which case you turn your toes out, you grab narrow, and you splay your knees out like this to help you get that lean forward with good leg compression. Now the last component here that we didn't really touch on before, except during our pause drills, the length in our rowing stroke comes from being able to hold your legs down, to push your legs down and hold them down as you finish the stroke and as you start the return sequence. So as we drive our legs, common mistake is to just kind of start bending them early like this, not even giving them a chance to press down before we start coming back up. We want to think of long legs and pull. Long legs, legs straight, pull, and hold them down as you tap your hands down and over. Feel the length. No matter how tall or short you are, feel the length in holding your legs down and swinging back. Nice. So now that we've gotten a few minutes here into the row, how is your feet out rowing feeling right now? Hopefully a little more connected, a little more confident in yourself. I encourage you here for these last, a little less than 3 minutes before we bump up rate to play around with the force in your foot plates a bit. See if you can add a little more force here. Let's try a slight power 10, just to add a little more juice. to the stroke. We'll go on this one here with me. Add a little power. Jump it. 1. Control your return, nice and soft. 2. Remember, you got to balance both. We drive back harder. 3, but come up softer and smoother. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good. So coming up in about 90 seconds, we've got ourselves 20 strokes per minute for the next 10. You're gonna feel quite the difference here when we do that. It's gonna be much more challenging for the body, much more challenging for your brain, your heart, your lungs, all of it. So be mentally prepared for that. We're trying to improve our pace per 500 and our watts. No specific numbers, but more intensity, more focus for that final 10 minutes. That is the overall goal. So keeping in mind, rowing long. Common thing that happens with feet out when we bump our stroke rate is we start rowing short again. Keep things long. You got this. Just nice and steady here. A little over 30 seconds. We're gonna miss the 14 stroke rate when it's gone. I always do. I think you will too, but we're gonna do the best we can. Lots of length. Force in the foot plates. All right, here we go. Taking things to 20 strokes per minute on this one. 20, right up, and jump. Up, and jump. Stay connected through your foot plates. Nice, let's take 5 strokes here to get ourselves into a rhythm. Remember to meet me at the front and jump with me. We'll go on here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go, there's our rhythm. Okay, so a common thing that can happen here as we've bumped up our stroke rate, you might even feel it for yourself here, is not leaning back as far, not leaning back. Try to be very aware of your body lay back and try not to cut that short. Remember, push our legs, swing, pull. Get those shoulders behind your hips. Shoulders behind your hips. Abs tight, swinging through. Yes, you'll feel a lot more core engagement and also engagement in your hip flexors too. Now, is that a bad thing when your hip flexors are working? No. It's actually a common misconception in modern day fitness. This idea that everyone's got tight hip flexors, you know, don't use your hip flexors, we need to lengthen our hip flexors, stretch our hip flexors. Some of that is true. The main thing though is we actually have weak hip flexors because we don't really train our hip flexors with specific exercises. Most conventional exercises, weight training, etc., don't really work our hip flexors very well. And so while yes, our hip flexors are shortened up from us sitting all day, they're also not very strong. And so when your hip flexors aren't strong, you're not going to be able to support yourself in a strong layback position in the rowing stroke. So if you feel your hips lighting up a little bit here, that is okay. That is your hip flexors working to get stronger. And when your hip flexors are stronger, you're gonna be able to support that back end more and get more of that swing. And when we get more swing, we get more power. As I've mentioned before, leaning and swinging is the #1 priority to power generation in the rowing stroke. Second after that is, of course, compressing your legs, but getting our body forward and back is crucial. So let's take a focus 10 here on getting that extra inch of layback. Really make sure we're getting back there. Keep your midsection squeezed tight. Flex your legs down straight. Focus 10 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. Swing. 7. Try to push, then swing. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Nice. You feel the difference here. Difference from when we first hit 20 strokes per minute till now. Hopefully we're feeling a little more of this swing. Now, just because the stroke rate is higher doesn't mean that we forgot about the first big fundamental that we talked about today, which is, remember, force in the foot plates. Our feet connecting every inch of the rowing stroke. We need those feet to connect from the moment we drive our legs down, through the body swing, and even through the arm pull. All of that has an equal and opposite reaction into the foot plates. So focus 10 here on feeling our foot plates work. We'll go on this one. That's 1, feel the force through the foot plates. 2, connect your feet. 3, hold your legs down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very nice. All right, less than 5 minutes to go. Most of the workout is now done. So we're really in the home stretch here. Some other more minor things to think about to help us keep ourselves efficient with our feet out is, like we've talked about in our pause drill days, shoulders down. Shoulders down, especially if you're a beginner. It's so common to start getting a little shrug, a little lift out of our shoulders. We try to get this dynamic motion out of our back, you know, trying to really work it more. But with rowing, the back and the arms, it's very subtle. Shoulders pulled away from your ears. You horizontally translate that handle back. There is no retracting. There's no big swoosh. It's just back, elbows out and back. That's the idea. And shoulders down to connect our lats. That's your back muscles. When we connect our lats, we take the force away from our traps and shoulders, these weaker muscles. We put them in the muscles that are most efficient. That is why you are always going to hear me harping about shoulders down, shoulders away from the ears. So, guess what? Focus 10, shoulders down, shoulders away from the ears on this one. Focus 10. That's 1. Pull those shoulders down all the way. 2, even on the return, even on the drive. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice. Cool, less than 2.5 minutes here. Take a little trip down memory lane for me here. Memory lane of 17 minutes ago, when we first started rowing with feet out. How weird that felt. How are you feeling right here compared to that? Hopefully a lot more confident. Hopefully you felt like you worked out some of the kinks in your rowing stroke here, that having your feet unclipped really helped show you. Just keep in mind again that this rowing journey is a process. There's not gonna be all of a sudden this light switch that flicks you up into perfect rowing form. It's about showing up each day with intention to try your best. Intention is my new favorite word. It means actively trying and taking control of a situation. When we just let life, especially in fitness, you let workouts just happen to you, oh, I'm just trying to get through it. Come on now, we're here, all right, we're here. So intentionally try to get through it. Don't just let it happen to you. When we bring intention into our work, whether we're quote unquote good at something or not, the intention is what makes us better. It's how you walk away knowing you're getting better without a freaking doubt. And good news, how old are you? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70? Even if you're 70, you got at least 15 more years of killing it with rowing workouts. And that's if you're 70. 15 years of workouts, so much time. If you're not 70, it's even more time. So stop being so hard on yourself. Keep bringing intention into your workouts. Keep this up. You will get to where you want to be. You got all the time in the world to get there. Nice, last few seconds. Pushing through, that is time. Nice. Light and easy. Ooh. Feeling things maybe differently in your legs going on right now than usual. That is learning. So how'd you do? Were you able to bump up your intensity going from 14 to 20? Did you feel confident? More confident in your rowing ability as we went along? I hope that's the case. Another day in the books. Rowing IQ increased. Leveling up our rowing skill. Good work. Take some time to think about how that went. And I hope you're looking forward to day 10. We've got some more intense interval training. A little sneak peek. 30-second intervals. Hope you're stoked. Thanks for showing up. And as always, I will see you in the next workout.